in our offices, and we host over 200 people per month. They come and learn on our skills. So this time around, we are training bar soap making and liquid soap making. The other time, we are training food. We've done paints. We've done so many cottage industry skills. When they come and learn, they go. So at first, we just wanted to give a skill and let them go. Started receiving feedback that I'm doing this business, that I'm able to feed my family. Supposed to go to Qatar with my family. Now I can be able to see progress. So after 6 months, we train them in such a way that you have to double your sales. So every month when you come for this, you have to tell us what is your sale. So before you start the program, we describe what are your sales. And when every month you have to tell us the sales, and we ask for feedback. Because we give you ideas, go to this market, go here, do this. So we ask feedback, and they'll tell us this did not work, this worked well, this also worked well, and we craft something. So that a model that after 6 months, they are able to double or triple their sales. And out of that, we were able to also develop an accounting software. Every time they would come, they would be writing their sales on a paper. And because for me, I'm very particular on targets. And we said you are supposed to sell 50,000 this month. You have to calculate it properly. So that is the first assignment for you to be in class. So I would see them struggle to look at their M-Pesa, look at their books. And I told them, I'm going to look for an accounting software fit for you. Some of them are class 8 dropouts. Some of them, they don't have a lot of accounting knowledge. So the accounting softwares we recommend our customers were not fit for them. So we went out to look for an accounting software that is going to fit them, and we could not find. And this year, we were able to develop my Accurate Book software that is fit for these micro SMEs, that you don't have to have the background of accounting for you to be able to have to use this software. It is very user-friendly. It is on your phone. It is used by the business owner selling. So you can be able to get a good invoice. When somebody tells you, send me an invoice, you don't have to draft something. You can send a neat invoice. You can track your sales. You can know your customers. You can be able to see your debtors. Because some of them will sell and they don't, or they will not even remember the number of days they are supposed to be collecting their money. So the software is able to track 30 days, 90 days, 60 days. And when you have customers, you can be able to list them very well. If you need to send an SMS to all your customers, because marketing for them is key, you can be able to get all the data and just send us a one message. So the software is making the work very, very easy. So today, as we see the success stories, if you look at the brochure that we gave, we had a lot of success stories on them being able to do their businesses. What we want to do for the Skill Up Mentorship program for the next 5 years, 5,000 people, and over 1,000 people are doing businesses, and they are living and they are having a livelihood for their families. For the next 5 years, we want to train over 100,000 people, and we want to incubate over 20,000 businesses. So we want to train over 100,000 people and incubate over 20,000 businesses. And because for me, when I look at what we do at RWK Africa, I get a lot of positivity that even now, there are businesses that are still making profits, and there are businesses in our economy that are still growing. I have a dream that all these businesses in Kenya can be able to thrive. Every one of us can be able to be a producer of something. Whether it's the product, whether it's a service, whether it's something, we can be able to make entrepreneurship very, very easy for us to be able to live a livelihood out of it. We also want to create an incubation center, doubled with a cottage industry training center, that when people come in after training, they can get their certifications, they can get their product out there. And we are also creating able to sell their product. Most of our people here, their biggest problem is sales and scalability. Some of them, even if we push them to supermarkets, they cannot be able to sustain that big demand with so many number of days of payment. So we want to create somewhere that they can be able to sell and get paid possibly within the shortest time possible, so that they can be able to scale their businesses much faster. And above all, we want to create a low-cost industrial center that people can be able to come in and produce their products, and being able to be in a network where they can be able to learn from each other and grow each other. So with that, our ask for the day is, we've been self-funding this program from RWK Africa. And some people ask me how sustainable it is. When we started in year 2022, I got a trainer. I don't train on yogurt. I'm a tax consultant and I'm an auditor. So I got a trainer out of the dream to train this. I got a trainer, he's called Mr. Mbudia. I will make him come here. And I'll tell him, we want to train on soap, and then he'll come up with a program to train on yogurt. He actually trained everything. He will tell me, I'll formulate and train. But now in the year 2023, our mentees started doing these businesses. So our mentees are now trainers. So that is how we are able to sustain the program, because our mentees, they train the program for free. So for us as a company, we just provide the product. When we go to Nyeri, in August, we were able to go to Nyeri County. We trained over 1,000 people at a go. And all our trainers, we did 10 trainings same day, and all our trainers were able to train. And above all, we have created them to become trainers. So when they come in with business, so they tell them, if you need to learn more, this is my number, so that they can also create business out of it. We also loan funding, training 100 people is quite a huge task. So we are also looking for that opportunity, and we're also looking for strategic partnership, people who can come with us and see the bigger vision of the impact that we can create through our families out of the businesses that we are creating. You can mentor. So most of us here doing business, take somebody, mentor them. You can come train. Thank you, Peter, for saying that you can train us on how to answer those tough questions when we meet the investors. So these people need a lot of training. I came to learn for the 10 years that I've interacted with entrepreneurs that entrepreneurship needs a lot of mentorship and trainings. So these people, when they are properly mentored, because they have the willpower, when they are properly mentored and trained, they can really create great businesses. So I'm so excited for this opportunity, and I thank you for our guest visitors for coming together with us. Mr. Vimal Shah, for what you are doing for Bidco Africa, taking the brands from Kenya to Africa. I'm so excited for that. Mr. Peter Mode, when we see the farm works and the transformation that you are doing for farmers in Kirinyaga and all over the Kenya, and taking their product in the market and being able to pay them the prices they should be paid, is very transformational. Mr. Robert Kibara, what you're doing for the bank and the funding that you're doing for the SMEs and just helping them scale is amazing. So I'm so happy to be with you today as we see this. I also want to say thank you for Mr. Wasike. He has been our mentor for the Skill Up Mentorship Program, and being able to see us going through the 3 years that we have come together. I also want to appreciate Mr. Kengori. Mr. Kengori, you can rise up. I guess we're going to give you a clap. Thank you. Mr. Kengori is my husband. Thank you. Thank you for sometimes and all the times allowing these dreams, and also the hand-holding. When we met, I was an accountant at Chania Boys High School, and he used to tell me, I want you to do business. So this is a fruit that he has inspired. I'm so excited. I can see all of you, the mentors, our customers. I can see you. I'm so excited for all the people that we do business together, the entrusting that you've given unto us. When we come to give you that financial advice and that consultancy that we do, we are so excited. I also want to say thank you to RWK Africa team for owning up this project. Most of the time on Saturdays, because this training, we do it on Saturday. They come, all of them, and they are passionate about us doing the Skill Up Mentorship program. So I'm so excited to see them even working towards helping. Sometimes it's not, sometimes they ask me questions because we spend, they will ask me those questions. Why? But I tell them it is very good to impact the world, and I can see the transformation that we are doing as a team. So I really thank them, all of them, for working with us. I thank you, and God bless you for coming.
All right, thank you so much, Daktari. Let's appreciate Daktari one more time. That's Dr. Regina Kingori, who is the cheerleader of dreams. Now, I picked several very serious things from that presentation. One is the journey. From a small seed of about 6 months progress into the many years that the Skill Up Mentorship program has existed, to where we are, where it had birthed about 5,000 and above, 5,000 entrepreneurs already, and still growing. The Skill Up Mentorship program has a great vision. That is also something else I picked. Mr. Peter earlier on talked to us about numbers and us understanding why we are doing things and how to pitch to any investor. And he told us we need to understand our numbers. And I've heard from Dr. Regina that we are targeting to empower or to impact 100,000 entrepreneurs in the next 5 years. Did I hear it right? 100,000 entrepreneurs. If you think that is a joke, just know that that is the biggest and most ambitious entrepreneurship impact we shall have in Kenya. Please give it up for RWK and Dr. Regina for such a wonderful vision that we have. And we are just about to talk about money, all right? Anytime we are about to talk about money, you know, those are issues that are very close to the heart. One thing I've never understood, if you have any understanding of this, please let me know. But why is the heart associated with love? Anyone who has an idea? Where it came from? Or you just found it that way, eh? You just found it that way. That the heart is associated with love, okay? But there's also another fact I love about the heart, that if you laugh more, you increase your chances of having a healthier heart. Do you believe that or not? Okay, no, you see, what I was expecting is that you guys will actually be practicing that and testing if you can laugh right now and increase your heart's health. But because you're not laughing, let me give you something that could probably make you laugh. That heart attacks are most chances likely to happen on Monday morning. Aha, now I can see you laughing. So I see that we are ready to invite the next speaker. Media team, please let us bring on the next speaker.
Welcome to HF Group. I'm Robert Kibara, and I'm the Group CEO. HF Group has been in operation since 1965. We started as a property development company as well as a mortgage company. Over the years, we have evolved to become a fully diversified financial services provider, focusing on banking, insurance, and property advisory. We have got 3 key subsidiaries: HFC, our banking subsidiary; HFDI, our property advisory subsidiary; and HFBI, our bank assurance subsidiary. HFC, our banking subsidiary, has transformed from a pure mortgage lender into a full service bank. We serve clients across various segments and sectors, whether they are SMEs, individuals, diaspora customers, institutions, and even financial services providers. HFC is fast growing and profitable.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, just before I invite the speaker, the owner of KBZ 307T, please attend to your vehicle urgently. Owner of KBZ 307T, please give way. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the group CEO, HFC, as he comes to make brief remarks. I told you that we are going to talk about money from the people who give us money, okay? So now listen keenly and ensure that you don't have a heart attack next Monday because HFC is here.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. All my life I've been a banker. You know, when Esther and Peter came here, they said that they have been teachers. And I must say I'll be a bit of a disappointment, Peter, because I quit teaching. I actually was a student at one point at Kenyatta University, and I quit the university one morning in second year. And I went to become a banker. I later on studied banking to the highest level possible. Teaching is a very good profession, but so is banking. It is liked, but we are here. Some years back, actually quite a number of years back, a lady came to my office. She was about 60, maybe a bit younger, or maybe a bit older, but around 60. She just retired. Her and her husband had just retired, and they were looking for something to do. They had exhausted all the money they had through educating their two sons, the only children they had. And so she wanted to know what she can do and how we can help as a bank. And I asked her this very important question that you will be asked many times. What do you have? So she said she has nothing. And then she told me that she had been offered a petrol station to run, but she did not have any capital to run the petrol station. And so I asked her, you told me you have two sons. What do they do now? She told me they just finished school. They are actually learning to become pilots. They had been learning to become pilots. And they had just gotten a job at us. So we had a conversation with the sons and her. And I could see determination burning in her eyes. Her name is Jane. And I told her, I'd asked the sons, can you borrow for your mother some money? And they said yes. So I decided to just take a chance on them. Just the way you feel these people will succeed. By the way, I have interacted with thousands of people. I've been in banking for 30 years, whether I look like it or not. I have interacted with thousands and thousands of businesses. And I can tell you, within 15 minutes of a conversation with a business person, whether they are going to succeed or not. What Peter was saying. And actually, as a banker, that's what I'm trained to do. To make sure I separate the people who will pay the money from the people who will not demand money. But back to Jane. Long story short, we financed Jane to set up a petrol station. And she did. She came back a couple of months later and told me she knows the reason why the previous guy went out of business, the one who was running the petrol station, because the tanks were leaking. The tanks were leaking, and she was losing her money into the ground. And she was almost losing the capital that I had given her. So I told her, I advised her, go shut down the petrol station tomorrow. She said, no, I cannot shut down. What will customers say? I told her, go and shut down the petrol station tomorrow. Sell all the fuel you can. Don't buy any more. Then you come, we talk. Women sometimes listen. And so she did. And she shut down the petrol station, and I told her the next few days, bring back the money, bring back the capital into the bank, then we talk. I asked her this question: what else do you have? Before you set up the petrol station, what other business did you want to do? She told me she has a borehole at home, and there is a big shortage of water in the neighborhood. She had wanted to sell water, but even that business she could not finance. So I asked her, how much do you need? We calculated that she needed a few tanks and a pump to get the water out. And so I told her, we are shutting down the petrol station for a while. We will sell water to the neighborhood. We get money to repair the tanks, and we go back to the petrol station. And that is what we did. So I took a second chance on her and gave her the money to go and set up the water tanks at home so that she can sell water to the tankers. 3 months later, she had made quite a bit of money, and now we fixed the tanks at the petrol station. And then she carried on with her business. Long story short, the next time I met Jane, she was running her second petrol station and was doing extremely well. That story of Jane is the story of very many people seated here, and the ones who are displaying things outside. You have a business idea, but you don't know where to get the money from. And even when you have the money, you can lose it in a flash. You can run out of the business like the previous one, what Peter was telling us. So today I'm going to share with you some thoughts about what I have learned over these years, over the many businesses I've interacted with. What works and what doesn't, and how you can improve the chances of success. At least you can get out of the 80% that Peter talked about. Before I do that, I would like to first of all, so just hold here. You will be glad you listened. Vimal, when I heard that you are coming here today, I decided yesterday to read about Bidco. From where you started in 1985, how Bimji Shah started the company, having moved from textiles to manufacturing soap. It's a truly inspiring story of a truly Kenyan company that is now operating in over 20 African countries. My friends, Regina and Kingori, Dr. Regina actually, Regina for so long now, I'm getting used to Dr. Regina. You inspire me every day, the two of you, in the many things that you do. Let me tell you, this country called Kenya, very few people get to their pockets. And I'd like just to tell you two things. The first thing, every good effort seeds your future, and service to humanity, to God. So please keep doing it. Peter, when I heard about you, I have never met you, but I decided to read about the thousands of tons that you are lifting today, and how you are transforming community and people, and making food cheaper, fresher, and easily available. And we truly celebrate you. Let's give Peter a hand. And then we have Flora. I read about you, of what you are doing in the tea industry. Melvin Smash, and what you are doing in many areas and transforming and creating impact in what you are doing. And you are truly to be celebrated. Let's give her a hand. I read also about Esther and what American Space is doing and her own impact in the society. And I was truly honored to listen to her and her story earlier today. Back to Jane, our SME. So today we are going to take quite some lessons from her and her journey. But before that, I have to tell you about us, HF. I'm going to take 3 minutes. HF Group has 3 companies. We have a bank, HFC. We have a property development company, HFDI. We have an insurance business, HFBI. The most important to you today here is HFC, because we have become very, very popular in financing SMEs. I have asked my team, we have a partnership with RWK, And I've asked my team, which is here, please stand up, the people who are here from our bank, and many others outside. Please give them a hand. And thank you for coming. There are many other people outside. Please talk to them. We have become very popular about financing MSMEs. We have a partnership with RWK, and I have asked that they give these SMEs a chance. Just like the story of Jane. Our property company sells thousands of properties every year. We have beautiful properties, even some near here. I think Bob Harris Road, we have almost a 700-acre plot farm. Up the road, Kiganjo Road, we have another property. And we have got many, many properties. And you will not be conned. You will not be conned because we have been here since 1965. If we were con men, we would not be here. So you're going to be safe working with us. And if you need your insurance, you have any insurance needs, whether you are an entrepreneur or an individual, you can talk to us about insurance. That is our group. We are growing fast, we are growing profitably, and we have a rights issue. Now, our shareholders have said they want to reinvest in the business. So we have a rights issue happening. If you have some money to spare, buy some shares in that company. Or you'll one day remember that I stood here and told you that is going to become a very big company. The shares are trading at 4 shillings today, but they will not always trade at 4 shillings. Don't be the person who will be here and one day remember. There's a young guy from Moranga who came here and told you there is something big coming up, because soon you will remember this conversation. So if you go back to Jane then, I have some lessons I have picked over time. And these are the ones I want to share with you. The first one, start where you are. Start with what you have. Do what you can do. In a country where people just complain, criticize, and condemn, you know, we are very good at that, eh? You know that? We criticize, we complain, and we condemn. In this market, as these people who stood here before me said, and doing great stuff, starting with where you are. I told you of the story of Bimji Shah, 1985, started making soap. That's what Bitco did, started making soap, like these ones, by the way. And from there, it is what it is today. But you have to have a clear sense of direction. Things don't work by fluke. I said today I'm going to talk to you heart to heart. I am a banker, but I also run a family business that was left by my late father. I'm the chairman. So we struggle the same way you struggle. Don't go borrowing until you have used what you have. That is a banker telling you. I should be telling you, come. So start where you are. Number 2, a good business idea, Peter told you, is not necessarily a good business. A good business idea is made to be a good business. You know, people say, sasa mimi nataka kununua matatu. Let me tell you, that is one of the biggest mistakes you can ever make. A good business idea is not necessarily a good business. There are risks to manage, and I don't want to repeat what has been said before. But there's one thing I want to tell you about. It is actually the small things that matter. It is the small things that matter. If you look at any of these products, that difference between how you brand it, how it looks, how it smells, how it solves the problem, that is what creates the difference. That is what gives you an edge. That is the reason why we use one product to another. One time, I went to India. No, I went to Dubai for an exhibition. And I met this company that was selling books, training solutions for banks. And they told me they come from India, Mumbai. And I was working with a bank, so I decided to go to Mumbai to go and meet them, to build solutions for training for the bank. They had a fantastic stand, a fantastic presentation in Dubai. in an exhibition. When I went to India, I found they were in 2 rooms. The president sat there, the vice president, 2 rooms. 2 rooms. But how they had positioned themselves had made me make a trip to Dubai and then make a trip to India. You have to, as said, put your best foot forward and become really good at what you do. Number 2, a small business is better than a small profitable business is better than a big loss-making business. Sometimes we build businesses for ego. That is how I advise Jane, close the petrol station tomorrow. You would rather be selling water than selling petrol to hundreds of cars in a day and lose all your money. As you grow your business, be aware of that. That as you're moving from one level to the other, make sure that level 1 is successful, properly successful, and then you scale. But remember, if you have shop number 1 here, if you open another shop somewhere else, you add complexity. Because now you're in 2 places. And Peter told us what happens when you are not in your shop. We have another profession as Kenyans. We have another profession. Scale your business carefully, and you'd rather be profitable and small than loss-making and big. The next thing is that your next opportunity may depend on who you know rather than what you have. Spend time in building networks. Spend time in building networks. Your next opportunity might depend on who you know and not what you have. I spend a lot of time building networks with people. I cannot safely say here that in Kenya, anybody in Kenya, if I need to reach them, it is just 1 or 2 calls away. Anyone, it doesn't matter who. I'll call so-and-so, then they can call that one. And no, call this one. Because I spend huge amounts of time doing that. But how do you build networks? Actually support people. The best people that I have built relations with are the people I have supported to solve their problems. Relationships are built when you don't need them. Relationships are built when you don't need them. I know time is gone, so I'm trying to move a little bit faster. Also know something, that you can be the biggest asset in your business, but also at some point you can become the biggest liability. You can be the biggest asset. Your business cannot be bigger than you. You can never outgrow your business as a person. So if you want your business to grow, what do? You improve yourself with knowledge, with skills, with abilities. But just remember that your business, at some point, I've seen so many businesses that have become big. Then at some point they stall. Because the knowledge, skills, capabilities of the owner imefika hapo. Imeishia hapo. The best way to increase on that is to become better. I started working in the banks as a teller. I've counted a lot of money. And over time, by just improving slowly, step by step, I'm now the CEO of a bank. Where you are going, nothing today shows where you are going. You just need to remain at it. How the world works is it. It works on planes, like levels. If you are to grow a certain level, the world actually elevates you to the next one. When you get to the next level, the world actually elevates you to the next one. But you must outgrow the lower level. Businesses are like that. These businesses you see here, once they outgrow this level, they will go to the next one, inevitably. But it is the owner or the person who is driving that business that makes the best decision. There is something that has been said before, that you need to think like a financier. I actually have nothing useful to add from what Peter said. The 4 things he said, I can confirm to you as a financier that they are actually true. Just do those things he said, and we can now have a conversation. I will not even repeat that conversation. Keep books of accounts, he said that. Esther talked about that people buy you first before they buy your products. The way you show up. You know, I've been a salesman for a long time. I've finished a lot of shoes. You know, when you are a salesperson, it is shoes that suffer first. So I've been a salesman. I've met thousands of people, thousands of companies. But I learned a long time ago that the way you show up makes a very big difference. People buy you first before they buy your story. I learned that I can never carry an umbrella because people will think I don't have a car. Those are some of the lessons I learned as a young salesperson. I always carried a brush in my bag so that because once I'm entering a company, my shoes are not dusty. Because people buy you first before they buy what you are selling. If you are successful, manage success. Unfortunately, a lot of the businesses that we have seen today, even some very big supermarket chains, have actually not gone so well because the owners failed to manage success. Managing success is another problem. It's another headache. Things like succession planning. How will the business continue? Manage success. But most importantly, remember, life is not linear. Prepare for disappointments. So for me, as Robert, when I get disappointed by anything, I get disappointed for 2 minutes, I brush myself, wake up, and move on. Because I've learned long ago, life is never linear. Actually, things rarely ever go the way you had planned. Prepare for detours. Move on quickly. And just know that failing is part of the process. In terms of financing your business, Peter talked about how you can raise money. But there are lots of opportunities that are there. Us as banks, we know how to finance people. And if you have got a good business and you have done all these things that we have said earlier, come and let's have a conversation. We will also equip you in the best ways that you can. We have got excellent products for individuals, for SMEs, for very large businesses, for chamas, for diaspora people, for institutions. We even have products for the government. Come have a conversation with us. I'll not go through each of the products. But I thought it's better for me to just share with you the things that I have learned over the time that I've been in this interesting world of banking and having met many, many people who are on the same journey, just like yours. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much, Bwana Robert. I had expected much less of a banker. I had expected a very short speech. I had expected technical language. And I did not expect at any point in time to hear a story from a banker. You surpassed all my expectations. But maybe the audience was expecting stories from a banker. So, by a show of hands, how many of us were expecting a story, at least from a banker? Oh, okay, these are fellow bankers who expected you to talk about the challenges that you go through in banking. That is why they expected that story. Ladies and gentlemen, time is still on our side, and we are doing very well. I would like to invite the next speaker. I know the media team is getting ready to present the bio of the next speaker. Just before then, remember that you can follow the activities of today, even if you came late, on our YouTube channel at RWK Africa. We are available on all social media platforms as RWK Africa, so be sure to follow us even after this, so that we can walk with you the journey of impacting 100,000 entrepreneurs in how many years? 5 years. So the worst mistake that you will do is to leave this place and not follow up on how we are achieving the 100,000, okay? The other big mistake you can do is if there is something you can do for Skill Up and you don't do it in the next 5 years, then you know that you're part of the reason why a Skill Up mentorship program will actually struggle getting that success. So you are required for us to achieve that success. Now, one interesting fact before we listen to what is in the media. Anytime I meet the CEO, Melvin's International. Anytime I meet her, I still ask her the question, what business did you have with salt before you got to my most favorite product in Melvin's, which is, you guys can guess? Yeah, which one? Which tea? At which one? Tangawizi. Tangawizi. Goja, mnajua brand nyingine yoyote ya Melvin's apart from Tangawizi? Yeah? Hot air. Yeah? Huyu anajua yote. Kwani unafanya Melvin's eh? Oh, unanunuanga. Okay, nani mwingine anajua brands zingine at least 3 hivi, 4 products? Umeinteract na 2, 3? Yes? Vanilla. Oh, product ya vanilla ya chai. Unaijua? Kabisa. Uwe unapikiwa ama unajipikia? Oh, for the kids. Okay, so you just buy it for the kids. You want to fake that you don't take that vanilla. That's what you want to tell us. Who else has enjoyed any other brand in Melvin's? Any of the products? Yes? Hibiscus. Oh, Daktari loves hibiscus. Okay. Mint? Oh, mint. Now, there is another combination that has happened, and I hope when Flora comes on stage, you're able to tell us how you mixed hibiscus, and in that same thing, you mixed mint, and if I'm not wrong, there's also another product which has whiskey. Watu wa hibiscus, mulikuwa nadhani nyinyi tu ndio mnajua products mpya. At least I know that one. So I don't know how these things are done, but most interestingly, Flora, I will be happy to know what business you had with salt and why you broke up with salt, because we don't like heartbreaks. Media team?
So Melvin Marsh was actually a company I created straight after college. I guess having grown up in these fields and grown up with tea, it remained close to my heart. And Kenyan tea at the time was available in the market, but was really only just packaged as bland Kenyan tea. So Melvin's tea came out and we decided to flavor the tea. So we'd take our tea and add naturally ground herbs and spices into the tea and package it ready for the customer. Well, tea touches about 10% of the Kenyan population. If you look at the whole value chain. So if you look at when you're growing the tea, the laborers come in, you're able to pay them, they're able to actually pluck right all year round because it's not a seasonal crop. So it has its ebbs and flows, but right all year round, they're able to educate the children, take them to school, and you tend to find once somebody begins plucking tea, they do not move. They stay there and they age with the tea, meaning the tea actually gives them enough revenue to actually live off as a country. I would like to share some of this Kenyan magic with the rest of the world as Melvin's Tea continues to package single-sourced Kenyan tea from the farm directly to the shelves and to the consumers globally. In effect, this will actually continue to uplift the lives of the farmer, their families, and the whole ecosystem surrounding the tea, which actually is over 10% of the Kenyan population that actually derives its livelihood around our tea crop. Enjoy the perfect cup of Melvin's tea, 2 leaves and above, in your cup, in your home.
All right, thank you so much. And we actually look forward to enjoying a cup of Melvin's tea through none other than the CEO. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon. I'm asking him, I don't know where he got that Melvin's has moved to whiskey. We are still very much in tea. And I shall give you the rest of the story. So Regina and all the guests, Vidko, Peter, Robert, like I said, good afternoon. So I went round outside and I looked around all the interesting businesses that people have. And very, very encouraging. And I think what encouraged me more is their location. This one was in Itawala, this one was in Kimbo, this one was in something else. And meaning, I think, Regina, your vision of really impacting entrepreneurs where they are is definitely coming to life. So very, very encouraging. So I'll share my story as an entrepreneur. You heard I began straight out of college. I did try employment for a period of 9 months. I wasn't great. I used to basically do the minimum. If I got a phone call, if I got a toothache, I've run away. So I went through college. I tried to become an accountant. And so when I finished college, I believed my own story, and I actually registered to start doing my accounting exams. And James McPhee, the dean of the school, pulled me one day and said, "Who's paying your fees?" And I knew this is a trick question, so I didn't answer. Then he told me, I've noticed I barely just used to get a pass and barely do the minimum in class. I'm always negotiating my homework. So he told me one profound thing that had never left me. He said, "You've got to remain true to yourself. You know, I understand you are living at home, people are paying your fees, you've just started working, but if this is not you, be true to yourself, because you're allowing yourself mediocrity, and mediocrity will follow you for the rest of your life." That same night, I didn't need a lot of convincing. I came home and I quit my 9 months job. And I next day told my boss, "I'm out." And she was a family friend. So she said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I want to do these things that audit. I want to be the one doing I couldn't even articulate clearly what I wanted. So I said, "I want to be like that businessman, that person." And she said, "To do what?" Obviously, I sounded very confused. But again, second word of advice, she told me, "Go bring this file, this file, this file, this file." So we sat down, and she took me through the history of several businesses that she had audited. And like you heard, a lot of them were family businesses where people would sort of start with very high turnovers and drop, and start and drop. And she told me, go build a business that is going to have a legacy, whatever you do. This thing of trading and just riding on a fad, if we are bringing maize, we are bringing maize. If it's sugar, she said, that one don't do. So those are two great words of advice. So I went back home, and nice evening. And of course, when everybody goes to bed, the parents called me and they started on me and they said, basically, disappointment. This is not what we expected. You studied wherever you needed to study. There's nothing we've never given you. Girls don't do this. You should have stayed in employment. I remember that lecture like it was yesterday. And for me, it was very, very confusing because I was brought up in a very equal home. What the boys did, I did. I never at one point thought I'm a girl. It never, ever crossed my mind until that day. So anyway, what I did is like most children, very cleverly around their parents, I just started ducking and diving. When they're home, I'm not home. When they're not home, I'm home. So 3 weeks later, they said, "Okay, what do you want?" And I tried to articulate. And I said, "This is what I want to do." But they asked me what. So now the pressure is mounting. I'm sitting down. We're having lunch. We used to have lunch at home every day. So I said, "This salt is very wet. Then why isn't it free-flowing?" So they asked, "What is that?" I said, "You guys don't know? There's free-flowing salt. It should come out of the salt shaker. You don't have to put rice. Why do people do this?" And like a joke, my mother, because she was so irritated, she says, "Go and do it. Isn't that what you're looking for?" And I thought, why not? That very afternoon, we didn't live far from Kabete campus. I went to Kabete. I went to the food lab. I asked the professor, "Can you help me?" He looked at me. "Have you studied food?" I said, "No." I told him, "This is what I want to do, and I'm very serious." So after a few arguments and negotiations. He said, okay. So he helped me do that. Within 2 weeks, I had a product. So now it's machinery and everything. So go back, look, where am I going to get my machinery? No clue. But, so I come back home and I say, hey, so I've had this idea, this is what I'm going to do. I have a product, can you help? They're like, which part of no don't you understand? So I'm like, so what do you want me to do? Anyway, long story short, I went out and I just went bank by bank by bank, walking into a bank, looking like I know what I'm doing. I hope my shoes were brushed. And finally, I did find a bank, Kenya Women Finance Trust, that it was not even a bank at the time. I think it was a microfinance. And they said, yes, we have a collateral-based loan that we could give you, but somebody has to put up half the security, we'll give you the double. So I went back home and I tried again. And I was told no again. Anyway, so I proceeded because you had to do class. It was a sort of class like this, understand financials, what. So I did the class, I came out with a business plan, and I went back and I tried again. And this time my parents were like, no. But eventually, mothers are mothers. And my mom said, okay, fine, I'll put together something. So she put some security. I went back. It was definitely not enough, but I was not going to complain. I went to all my people who are supplying me product and machinery, and I just wrote small checks. And I told them I'll come back. And I started selling, and I went to the market. I did my first sale, Chandarana supermarket. I came back, I did my second sale. Now that's where the drama started. I'm given an order of 100 dozens. Can you imagine you have a first product, you have no capital, and somebody says 100 dozens. So I said, okay. So I go home, of course, no money, I finished the money, I don't know what to do. I was at my friend's place and the mom said, okay, I'll lend you. It was only 36,000. Salt is very cheap. I'm still getting to the story of why we divorced with salt. We didn't divorce, we're just not friends. So I get the money, I deliver. So the guy says, okay, see you after 3 weeks. I've borrowed this money. No, 3 months, 90 days. I borrowed this money. This guy's talking about 90 days. He said, yeah, hotels, that's what we do. I'm like, never. So I said, this guy doesn't know me. So I said, I'm going to wear him down. So I went there every day. 5 days later, now we're just sitting and having tea, and he's telling me, you're not going to change the policies of this place. If you didn't know, you didn't know. So sit down. Eventually, long story short, is he says, my mother's disturbing me. She's calling me all the time. I've got to pick a call. And this is like 29 years ago. So there was no mobile. He'd go and pick the call. And we'd even go together now. He'd pick the call. He'd speak to his mother. Then I had a conversation about tea. So I asked, why is she packing tea? She said, oh, you didn't know there's a government monopoly that was lifted. She's buying at this price and selling at this price. Remember, I'm desperate. I need to make something happen. I'm already starting to see this product is not what I thought. So I asked him, what do you know about it? He said, oh, my friends are in tea. That was a Thursday. By Monday, I was in Mombasa with all the friends who are in tea. And I said, I want to register myself as a packer, and this is what I'm going to do. And they're looking at me like, what do you know about tea? Nothing. You're going to learn? Yes. How are you going to learn? And you're in Nairobi, because everything in tea happens in Mombasa. Anyway, I pretended I was confident and I knew what I'm doing. So eventually, they told me they wanted to see me in the evening. In the evening, they met me and they told me I'm being too arrogant. It's not that simple. I said, it will work. Don't worry. But on my way back to Nairobi, I thought about those words and I thought, let me not be too confident here. I got home, tried to make myself a cup of tea. I loved my ginger. And it was not there. So I went back, I shopped, I came back. And as I was making my teas, when it hit me, I said, how many people would want this already made? And that is where now the whole story of ginger came into the tea. You know, then you meet people, I do flavored tea, and you're so proud of yourself, and they're telling you, we need more flavors. So I went into other flavors, and that is basically the story of Melvin's and all the teas. So all these new flavors we sort of come out with is either something I like or a trend I see, I research, and I put it out in the market. So a couple of lessons from the long and the short of my 29-year journey. I think number one, and this is to the entrepreneurs, great ideas come from solving everyday problems. I think a lot of us want to be very complex. I want to do this app that does this. That's good. But is it solving a problem? So we also have all these products here. What problem are they solving? Because today we are living in a world of abundance. It's even more difficult. It's not like it was 29 years ago. You see, I went into tea when there was government monopoly lifted. So there was only one packer at the time. So we are the ones who brought flavor tea into the market. Today, you have to really be way more creative to actually come up with something. So I tell entrepreneurs, solve a problem. It could be an everyday problem, and it could be the simplest of things. And once you get proficient at that, then you can solve all of mankind's problems. If we look at even something simple like WhatsApp, that's how it was formed. Actually, if you look at the technician who did it, he did it because he wanted to put a message, I'm at the gym, I'm busy. When you text each other, I'm busy, I'm at the gym. That's actually how it started. And then the friend started saying, hey, yeah, I got your message. And they realized, my goodness, it didn't even cost me anything. And then there was the biggest problem, of course, the cost of communication. If we could tell you, those of us who have been in business for long, telecommunication was expensive. And that's how now WhatsApp actually went viral. And within 5 years, they sold it for $19 billion. So solving a simple everyday problem can actually do this. No need to mention Uber, transport problem. I'm trying to remember when I started, even this trip to Mombasa, because I didn't have a car, I sort of got into a little shuttle that used to go to Mombasa. You're getting into a taxi, you're not trusting this driver, it's late, it's night. Uber has sorted another problem. Airbnb, TikTok. TikTok was actually started by some kids who really wanted just to have fun. And look how viral that has gone. So I keep telling entrepreneurs, when you're thinking of a product, everyday simple problems. Jeff Bezos, he actually started Amazon because he wanted books to be available online. He couldn't understand what is this indexing, and he says, why can't we do this online? And he went from that, and you can see the business that he can build. So big ideas often come from solving very, very basic issues. So to my dear youth that I saw out there, let me ask you, what problem are you solving? And your solution could be the beginning of something big, but the most important thing is to start. So I've seen a lot of beginnings, but I want to challenge us to go deeper and to do more. I think a second one is to be innovative. And to be innovative, you need to be creative. You see, for me, now I got it stuck in a corner, so I came out, let me do free-flowing salt, because I always believe in going the road less traveled, not the road where everybody is. Then I said, free-flowing salt. And then came all these other products, that come from there. And my tagline is actually refreshingly different. So even when my team come up with something, I always ask them, is it different? Or how are we going to deliver it different? So daring to be different means you have to stand out. You have to get yourself into a little bit of trouble. I survived, by the way. I was in trouble at home. And eventually, within a couple of months, my parents apologized. But that daring to be different is something you need to do as an entrepreneur. It's not always going to be easy. I dared to research the salt. I dared to research the tea. I didn't finish the story about all those checks that I used to write. They all used to bounce. But I didn't mind. Bouncing a check was, I think, 100 bob. It didn't matter. It was not criminal at the time. Today, I wouldn't dare do it. So go to the bank. Don't necessarily bounce checks. So Elon Musk, he dared to do things differently. He's asking, what if? Why? How can we do this differently? Why do we have to do things the same? Jeff Bezos, let's change this library. Why do we have to have everything done the same? So pushing and using your creative mind is also something that is also different. You have Rihanna. She has enough money. Decides to come up with a beauty brand. What was her reason? She said inclusivity. I'm just tired of just using products that are made for white people. We want to have products made for colored, if you can consider her colored. So daring to be different. Don't be afraid to stand out in a crowd. It's not easy, but it doesn't kill. And that means you are your greatest asset. So continue to invest in yourself. I think I've heard you guys being told here, read. I said to lead is to learn. You have to be learning all the time. You have to be leading all the time, reading all the time, questioning all the time. And the best place to look for questioning is the youth, the kids, a 5-year-old. Daddy, why does this do this? That's how we need to be. And that way you'll be able to do that. However, as we're discussing this, allow me to discuss, to challenge you on a couple of things. Number one, peer pressure. A lot of people in business suffer from peer pressure. Especially you people just left campus, trying to find out what to do, I'm not sure. Somebody's doing something, you follow them. Is that necessary? Keep your dreams, follow your dreams. You've been told a lot of advice. Ask, question, research. I mean, I'm so encouraged by Regina's mission. 100,000 SMEs. Be in her program. You don't need to be pushed around by peer pressure. People say, oh, my friends laughed at me. Everybody thought I should have been in employment. Because about 29 years ago, business for us was not supposed to be a cute thing. It was employment, get a good job. And my friends got good jobs, by the way, beautiful cars. I sold my car to buy a pickup, and it was a very ugly pickup. In fact, they used to come and pick me up. They say, no, you're not coming with that one. No, it's not going to happen. But your real friends will wait for you, and your real friends will accept who you are if you dare to be different. So make decisions based on where you want to go. Hang out where the solutions are. It's not every Saturday we're going to the club and we're doing I don't know what and I do. How many of you wake up fresh on a Saturday looking for something interesting to do that can teach you something? But no, we want to follow and say, Nani must go, and I don't know what, and I don't know what. What are you doing to invest in yourself other than following the pack? The other one is failure is actually just a step on the road. We are so scared to fail. Let me tell you, I haven't seen anything that has killed people, maybe jumping off a cliff. But to start a business and it doesn't work, or to push an idea and it doesn't work, you don't quit. Do you know this soda called 7-Up? Do you know why it's called 7-Up? Because they tried 6 times and it succeeded on the 7th. You can imagine the investments. Elon Musk, when he was doing this SpaceX thing he was doing, sending the rockets, not this Twitter story, he had almost declared himself bankrupt. But he pushed until it happened. So the fear of failure is one of the biggest realities that stop people from doing what they do. But I always tell people, just do a step, however small, a step. Every day, a step. You will find you've reached that other side. They say failure is feedback, and feedback is the breakfast of champions. Athletes do it all the time. They say, I'm going to run to here, and they test, and it's not working. Tomorrow they wake up and they test, and it's not working. And the next day. So why in business do you think that you'll come up with an idea, put it in the market, and you'll succeed? Really, that's arrogance at its highest. There's nothing wrong with failing. I have culled several products, and I'm sure if you speak to Bitco, them too. You put out a product, you have everything, and then you realize either as you were making the product, the market shifted, or you didn't have the right information. So those are just things you have to keep making sure that you go on. So career failures are there, and they are done by very, very many. So when things are hard, I think remember you're not alone. This journey has been covered by many who are here. Jane, Vimal, myself, there are many. Seek them out. Read books. You guys have a world of abundance right now. I mean, of information. There's so much information. Information when I was starting was not available. When in the business plan you're being told what the size of your market, you have no clue. And I couldn't afford those researches that maybe Bitco are buying. I couldn't. Half the time I'd be telling guys, how many supermarkets do you think there are? How many kiosks do you think there are? But it didn't stop me doing what I was doing. So as I conclude, my young entrepreneurs, I'd ask you to dare to dream big. This is a beginning. This is a stepping stone. You have proof of concept. You know you can make business. Now let's grow. Let's work. Let's move. Let's make it bigger. Globalization is here. The world is a village. Today, with a touch of a button, you can speak to a global consumer. You can speak to your consumer. In fact, the other day in my office, because for us who develop products, you always ask, you go to the key accounts and ask, will you list my product so that you see what kind of volumes you get? But I don't know we are facing so many challenges. The other day I told them, never ever talk to me about an account refusing to list my product. I can sell it myself. because I have access to the client one-on-one. So these are the things now as you're growing, you start. So globalization is there. 8 billion people in the world looking for your product. So don't only think here. There is the rest of the world. Technology can work wonders. COVID taught us so much, from meetings to, marketing, and get proficient. There's no excuse for that. Doesn't mean because you've decided you're going global it will happen. There's a lot of work to be done. Let me not underestimate how much. Population growth. By 2050, 1 in every 4th person will be an African. It means your product will be bought. And everybody's they were moving towards urbanization. Again, it means your products will be bought. Trade agreements. We have the AFCFTA. How many of you are looking into Africa? I saw Regina is. How many of you are thinking beyond now? Beyond Kenya, beyond my locality. I want to make my product in Kiambu. Great start. Now let's go. Let's move. Let's get out of your comfort zone. So consumers now know more than ever. Like I said, we're living in a world of abundance. People don't want what they had yesterday. They've become a very now. So learn to react like that. When you're coming in, come in with a niche, get known for something, and then expand, and then expand, and then expand. Solve problems because they're always there. So the road will not always be easy, but remember, solve a problem, be innovative. You need creativity for that. Have a courage to be different, and that will build you a resilience, and it will build you something that will be very, very impactful. All these other people have done it, and so can you. Oh, I forgot to say, the salt is still on the shelf. Actually, now we started to flavor the salt. We have lemon chili, we have barbecue, we have herbal. So we are doing what we were doing to the other one. But it's still there, lakini ni mtoto tu.
Okay. All right. So, huyo mwenye ameitwa mtoto was actually conceptualized about 26 years ago. Huyo ni mtoto mkubwa. Pigieni Flora makofi. Huyo ni mtoto mkubwa. And grow to pole pole. Okay, very interesting, and I've had very wonderful insights. One of the most powerful things I've picked from that statement is, or from that presentation is, you need to be solving a problem. Are we in agreement about that? But then, I also picked another very good challenge, that even as we solve the problem, the biggest challenge here is to get started. Sawa sawa. All right, so thank you so much, Madam Flora. And for the next and final speech of the day, which is also one of the speeches that has a lot of excitement and inquiries, because what I'll be asking is, when I go to any supermarket today, what product will I buy that will not be coming from this company? Sawa sawa. If you get it, and if you don't get it, so the guys we are just about to introduce are people who have done great products that we have interacted with. Everyone in this room has interacted with their products, okay? That one I can tell you for a fact. They're going to be represented by the boss. He's here, okay? Media team, please roll the bio up.
In a world of global commerce and competition, outstanding brands distinguish themselves through collaborative enterprise, creative marketing, and superior products, elevating themselves to the prestigious distinction of being named a super brand. Bidco Africa is a super brand. Bidco Africa is East and Central Africa's leading edible oils, hygiene and personal care products manufacturer. Bidco Africa is a true African entrepreneurship success story, which began with producing just 3 soap brands, growing to become one of the region's largest FMCG manufacturers with over 50 brands. Bidco currently has manufacturing units in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and most recently Madagascar, producing edible oils and fats, margarines, baking products, hygiene and personal care products, and animal feeds. Bidco's range of brands offer products with sizes that suit every pocket in over 16 countries where the company has a footprint.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to request that we all be on our feet as we invite our chief guest for the day, Dr. Vimal Shah from Bidco Africa, to come and tell us what we have not consumed or what we have consumed that is not from them, okay? Welcome, sir.
To show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me.
Maybe you all want to stretch. You've been sitting for a long time. You want to stand up and you want to stretch your arms.
Chosen generation, we're being called for to show.
Breathe a little more. Breathe a little more so you get some oxygen. Thank you very much. I guess you need to be a bit more oxygenated. You know, you can even dance if you want. Just move around. Because I think I'm going to be here for another 2 hours. That's what I told Regina. So thank you very much. And you may stretch and relax again. First and foremost, I think all our previous speakers, starting from Peter to Robert, to Flora, to Esther, who's passed on. I mean, she's gone. And it's not passed on. She just went. And I think all the people since morning, probably Regina, Dr. Regina, and Kingori, as I call you that. I think, thank you very much. And all the audience, it's such a huge crowd here. I'm pretty impressed with what you're doing at Skill Up and launching a huge mentorship program. I already have some pop-ups of new ideas of how we can partner with a lot of people. But anyway, thank you. You can all sit down now. Actually, after listening to such really good speakers already, I asked Regina, Dr. Regina, a lot of things have been discussed already. So what would I talk differently? How would I speak differently and talk to such an august audience here? But okay, first and foremost, all protocols observed. All of you are distinguished if you are sitting in this room, and obviously in MKU University, which is right opposite our place. And really, it's really good to see all the vibrant youth. How many of you call yourself youth? Still young? Because I still do. Great. How many of you think you are sell-by date over? Gone, spent? None. That's good. So I think sitting in front of such vibrant youth and entrepreneurs as such, and having this really Skill Up program, it's probably the heartbeat of our future, in terms of Kenya's future. So you're all aspiring risk takers, right? Because a lot of times, Flora was saying just now that our parents would say, go get a job, because the job was the safest position to take in any place, because you get a monthly salary and do what you want. At least you will still get a continuous pay package and stuff. There's no risk in that. And I think all of you are dreamers. I would say dreamers, builders, innovators, and risk takers. But at the same time, I think you're building not just businesses. What I see here, you're also building livelihoods, communities, and also giving other people a can-do attitude. So I think the Skill Up program is amazing, because really, this is the need of the day here. So Dr. Regina and team, well done for this. I think this is something that really is important. What I'm going to talk to you about is not the same issues. I think I'd rather talk to you about sustainability, business sustainability, not just starting up, but sustainability, keeping it. And then, of course, thriving in whatever headwinds or whatever tailwinds we get, right? By tailwinds, I mean, when you're sailing in a sailboat, you get tailwinds and you can go forward. But when there are headwinds, how do I still move forward? Come what may. And I think everybody's talked about it. We had the protests recently. We talked about headwinds coming through taxation and harassment and whatever, theft. And it's becoming much more relevant now, increasingly relevant as a subject to say, how do I sustain myself? How do I navigate myself? A lot of us, when we start up, we would say, yeah, started up, did this, did that, I spent so much money, and it's not successful. Options are two. Do something about it and change, or shut down and say, fine, I'll do something else, or get a job. Or say, like Flora was talking about, it's a failure, it didn't work. And therefore, we sit with this paradigm that this didn't work, and therefore that never works. It's like the elephant with the chain. You know, when you take a small elephant, when he's not very big, they tie him with a big chain when he's young. And all his life, he's had this chain around him. When he grows really big and he's heavy, he could just pull off that chain and run with it, but he doesn't do that because that chain kept him there. And he knows that if I pull that and take it out, it's not possible, it doesn't happen. So how many of us sit with ideas and say, this one failed, and therefore I'd rather not touch that again, and never again? And that's what really happens in terms of businesses, where they start saying, okay, I tried this, didn't work, tried this, didn't work, tried this, didn't work. And then some people say, I'll do something different. Some people go into escapism. Escapism could be watching movies, having a lot of alcohol, shutting down the mind to say, look, stop disturbing me, and I want to be in level 9. You know, level 9 means high up there. Of course, it increases the share value for breweries, but really, that's where some people go. Again, it's indulging in something that's not proper. So I guess that's something that one needs to be worried about, that, look, I don't want to be in that context of being in that, I tried it, it didn't work. I tried it, it didn't work. And therefore, we have paradigms. So today, I want to talk about paradigm busting. Let's bust a few of the paradigms that say, no, this doesn't work. We've done some surveys with people right now and say, fine, what's the mood of the country right now? Where are we going? We're happy, unhappy. You know, happy is this, unhappy is this, or we're not comfortable right now. When you do that amongst a lot of business people today, there is a sense of saying, it's not this. It's either this or it's this. And it's therefore uncomfortableness. If we did a survey here right now, how many of you feel uncomfortable today? Not with this position, not this place here, but as a country situation, how many feel uncomfortable? Yeah? Oh, you have some people who's doing that too. How many are very comfortable? I'm not, but... So that's the situation of the country. The point is, if that's the situation of the country where none of us is feeling comfortable, we're all feeling uncomfortable, and in that context, we still have to run. We still have to work, play, and work. And we really got to get our farms running. We've got to get our produce running. We've got to get our factories running because people are employed. It's not that factories are owned by owners and then they run it. It's the people they employ, right? And the people they employ is sustainability. That's important. So even farms, if you have large farms, it's not about the farm and the produce. It's more about the people there. Because I think that's the sustainability issue that's important. Even a bank. A lot of people accuse banks. I didn't know HF was a bank. Sorry about that. I found out today. They accuse banks and say banks are making too much money. If you saw yesterday's papers, the banks are making record profits ever. So they're all happy, right? Bankers, of course, say, really happy. Very good. The interest rates are high. We're making good much money. We give little to the people and we make much more. But that situation is about sustainability. Now in business, I see a lot of the products here, right? Sustainability, a lot of people talk about. It's even talked about at the UN. Sustainability to some people means only environment. And they classify sustainability means environment and therefore worry only about the environment. That's what climate change or, plastics. In fact, one more thing here. Check every one of these products here right now. Every one of them has got plastics with them. If a UN person came here, they would say this is not sustainable at all. Therefore, shut all this down. These balloons are not sustainable because these are also plastic. These are also like one-time use and they could be thrown out there. So there's a lot of issues around this subject called sustainability, right? And that's to do with the environment. But in terms of that, when we look at it, there are opportunities in this. And that's what I want to give you, that there's an opportunity in every single challenge that you face today. If we see a challenge in plastics, a brand new idea, Dr. Regina, to tell all our people here, is we can go into recycling everywhere. That's a huge new business opportunity just opening up from the wrath of saying ban this plastics or remove it. Plastics is not a bad product. It is sustainable. It is keeping everything healthy. However, it is the only product that can be recycled 10 times, 12 times. You can keep recycling it and bring it back and it'll still come back. You can't do that with other products. It requires less energy also to do that. So I'm just saying recycling is an opportunity. So look at that opportunity and say, fine, recycling. Now a lot of you may say, oh, recycling needs a huge plant, a big investment. No. Small scale, every single town, every single village could have recycling being done. Now that opens up a huge business opportunity. So that's one thing that I'm talking about. In sustainability, let's look at, go to say, fine, sustainability is probably going to go to solar panels, energy-wise too. So there's a lot of opportunities that I see in that space, number one. Number two, despite, and I say this openly here, despite the uncomfortability of taxes, that's our biggest problem, our cost of doing business in Kenya is moving up. Why? Because the government's now targeting every payroll, every pocket, everybody's payroll, so the disposable income that people had is going down. So generally, 20% reduction has happened in consumer spending in Kenya today. Did you know that? 20% has gone down. So people who are spending money on consumer products, they've come down by 20% already. Now here we have new startups trying to do all that stuff, but I want to give you a different perspective to this. Despite the 20% reduction or whatever, there will still be need for food, clothing, and shelter, right? That's what they used to call it, right? Food, clothing, and shelter, basic human needs. Obviously now, before food, before clothing, and before shelter is Wi-Fi, right? I can do without food, but not without Wi-Fi. A lot of people use that. So I'm just saying, Wi-Fi has become one more in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. However, when we look at that, that's opportunity. So talk about the food area. I see some of the people in food area, some of you in, not yet clothing, but could be clothing also, but also in hygiene, personal care. It's going to get bigger and better. Health, healthcare, wellness. Did you know that the wellness industry is the fastest growing industry in the world? The wellness industry. It's not health, not healthcare or medical, it's wellness. If we can prevent a disease from coming on board, we won't need to go to the healthcare facilities. So the wellness area is becoming big. That's an opportunity that I can tell you one thing. The hygiene personal care products are talking to that. But again, emerging from our own Silicon Savannah that we're talking about here in Kenya, the digitalness that we've all got. In fact, we all carry something called a device nowadays. If you went out of your home or wherever without a device, would you survive today? How many of you would you survive? No, you feel you're not dressed, right? You're undressed without a phone or without a device at least. Now, if your bandwidth is gone, that's another problem, right? So we all struggle and say there's no bandwidth here. So I think with that and our Silicon Savannah, we've got an opportunity to see what can we do here. Apart from MKU University, there's another university called the University of YouTube. It's not located in Thika, but it's located on your palm. It's here. And it's for free. You just need to have the bandwidth for it. So if you were to go to the University of YouTube, you could do a how-to on everything you want. This is probably, I'm talking about your sustainability, to say, fine, how do I scale up? I've got this, I've got the product there, I need a branding. Go into YouTube and put your question out there. You'll be able to get some sort of a video. Somebody's posted something on it. To assist you further, now we've got AI, and AI is now giving you every single answer. I talk to a lot of lecturers. I'm also a chancellor of a university at Masai Mara, and I can tell you one thing. When we talk to lecturers, they're also struggling that how are we going to survive with AI, because AI can replace my knowledge. If you are a lecturer here, you know that you've got a challenge. The students have already checked everything out. They know the subject matter. And you're trying to teach something here, and the students are saying, yeah, this guy doesn't know enough. I know more. So, all I'm saying to you is, really, for innovations, we have sustainability in terms of how do I sustain my business? What do I do with brand names? Any question you have, anything about business issues, you talked about many here. But there's one about scaling up. There's one about growing up. I have a very simple theory. When a company starts up, we're at 4 levels: operations, management, directorship, and shareholder. Even if you're a single man, you talked about a one-man company, one company, single-person company, even starting in a garage, you are still the operator, you're the manager, you're the director, and you're the shareholder. You're the president. But you wear those hats differently, right? When you open the shop, you do the fagio or whatever, you clean up the place, that's there. That's operations. And then there's management. And then there is directorship, and then there's shareholding. As you scale up and you grow bigger, and you go into saying, now I'm operating in 2-3 different places. I'm in Homa Bay, I'm in Nairobi, I'm in Ruiru. Now you say, I've got to be in 3 different places. So what you do is, in operations, you delegate to people. That's how you scale up and you grow. Scaling up. So then you say operations, hire people, they run that. At the middle level, you stay in management and you stay a director and a shareholder. As you now say, I want to go to 10 more towns, or I want to go to 2 countries, you say, fine, here we are. So you appoint people in operations, you appoint people in management, and then you are a director and a shareholder. As you say, I want to go to 5 countries, or AFCFTA, as the opportunity comes in, and you want to be in 5 different countries, you appoint people at management, operations, and in directorships, and you can stay a shareholder. That's a simple solution to scalability and scaling up. But if you try and do micromanagement to say, I will run all operations, I will run all management, because without me, nothing works. When we are a one-man company, without us, nothing works, because we are the best entrepreneurs. And I can tell you, every one of you, when you start off, you are the best. You will never get anybody as good. However, you need to then say the art of delegation. And delegating systematically, putting in systems and processes. And that's the way to scale up. We started the same thing. We did the same thing. I can tell you, if I talk about my story, Dr. Regina, I think she asked me to talk about it. When we started off, all I had was an idea. An idea in my mind at university, at USIU in Nairobi here. The idea was to say, let's do something in terms of agriculture. I'm born in Nyeri, my father was in Nyeri, and he had a farm in Thika here. He had a coffee farm here back in those days. And he always said, I want to do something in agriculture, something big in agriculture. And we thought, okay, fine, let's look at that. While in university, I came up with an idea and put up a whole paper on how to scale up agriculture, whatever. But he was running a clothing factory, and therefore to scale back the clothing factory, I said we'd go back into cotton, from cotton garments to go to cotton weaving and spinning and ginning, and therefore go to cotton value chain and start doing farming of cotton. So we got together with people and say, what about cotton farming? Cotton farming was dying because at that time, the polyesters came in. Women like permanent press, the one that you don't have to iron and all that stuff, at that time. Now, today, the situation is different, cotton is in vogue. So that time, the issue was, can we scale up? And started putting a project together and went from bank to bank and said, here's our project. We want to look at the cotton value chain and go back to it. Bankers said, hang on, do you have any experience? I said, no, I'm in university. I'm giving you a document here. Your experience is only a clothing factory. So we couldn't get any financing. We went back and reiterated the whole project to say, fine, where do we start from? Looking at the value chain of cotton, going back to cotton farming, it had 2 things. Lint is what makes your shirts, and then seeds, cotton seeds, which you can actually crush. You can get an oil out of it, and you get some animal feeds out of it. So we looked at the value chain and said, look at the side of cotton. The garments industry was fashion industry. Fashion means if blue is in vogue, blue sells. If red, it's red that sells. In the edible oil industry and the animal feeds, it was standardized product. Standardized product, there's no fashion. It's about standardizing and becoming economies of scale and stuff like that. So then we dumped the whole cotton and value chain and said, shut it down, because that's not going to be important for us. And started looking at the edible oil value chain. Put that together, made a nice document with a paper, and then went from bank to bank. Again, bankers come in the frig here. Mr. Banker, I want to do this project and we want to do this. So they look at me and said, how old are you? I said, I was 20. I was 20 years old then. Okay, do you have any experience in this? No experience. Have you ever done this before? No, never done before. Then how do you think you're going to be successful? I said, I have an idea and I'll implement it and we'll make it happen. And they said, yeah, very good, very nice project, but let's look at it differently. And one bank manager of a big multinational bank said to me, Unilever will kill you. Unilever was East African Industries then, the blue boards. East African Industries will kill you, they won't let you survive. So try and not go into that industry because they are a multinational. Now I am saying this to you is important because it's stuck in my mind. So went back again and said, okay, no financing available, so what do we do? Went to a bank called IFC. IFC was coming up with many blanket things that we are here for developmental financing and we give you development financing for local entrepreneurs, stuff like that. Went to them and gave the paper. So they said, yes, young lad, very good. We can give you the money, provided you have 40% equity. Now, at that time, the project was about $40 million. And I said, no, we need all the money because we need to borrow. We don't have any money. We had nothing. He says, you need to give us 40% equity, and then we can start look at this project. And I said, okay, this doesn't work anymore. So he advised me one thing. He says, start small, do one step at a time, either of the value chain, and then go backward into it. And that's what we're doing for 38 years today. We've gone from soap, we started making soaps, small scale, and then went backwards into edible oils, from edible oils into crushing seeds, from crushing seeds to plantations and creating the soybean, maize germ, cotton seeds, crushing that, making animal feeds from that, and then the farming. So today we've done the whole value chain, including farming, including the crushing and the whole lot. Oil, soaps, and then many more products coming out of it. But the point was we started off one at a time, scaling up. Start with one, make it successful, and go back in the value chain. That's how we started, and it's 38 years now. My father, myself, and my brother, all three together, we started this off together. We're all three still around. My father is 92 right now. Of course, he was born in Mombasa, but he's now retired in a way, but he says, yeah, I'm still active. And he's told me one thing, never retire in your life. Never say retirement, because he was waiting for your funeral and says never retire. So that's one work ethic that he's given us. Second thing he told us was very clear. If you fail fast, make a mistake, learn from it. Do not worry about the mistake, learn from it. So learning from mistakes is important. So take it as a learning expedition. Number 3, have a can-do attitude that this can be done here. And that's how we thought of it and say, what did the bank manager say? Oh, Unilever will kill us? Fine. Second thing was, multinationals have something. So we thought of it and really sat down and put it together. What does a multinational have that we don't have? And this stuck in my brain, very simply. What do they have that we don't have here in Kenya? We have the people, we have everything else here, except we don't have the global reach and the global power to say, fine, I've got the expertise sitting somewhere in the world where I can tap into them. And that was the case here, right? So that's the time when we looked at that and said, fine, if we are to operate here, we will need to have the same abilities to be able to leverage that at no cost. So we actually did that in many aspects. They have systems. They have processes, they have professionals working, they have everything in place. So your systems, processes, and your technology. One thing they had was they had global technology, which means they had good technology working for them and they thought through a lot of issues. Of course, it's been iterating since then, but those are the things. So we set out and said, fine, if we're going to buy machinery and put up a big plant, we're going to buy very good, efficient machinery, number 1. Number 2, we're not going to compensate and buy something rotten and say, let me do it, Juakali style. No. Do it properly. Second thing, systems and processes. So your systems and processes is your accountability. I think somebody talked about it. The accounting of it. Your revenues, your spending and all that stuff. Your processes and systems must be so robust that you actually know on a daily basis whether you're making money or not making money. Number 1. Number 2, you need to know where is your wastage happening. So those were the systems and processes. Number 3, he said very clearly, do not do anything that is not taxed. Make sure you abide by the laws. And we're still doing that since then, and we actually follow every single law. Sometimes the law is an ass, but sometimes we say, fine, we just got to follow it because you don't have any non-compliance. And that's something that for a lot of startups these days, I think they want to say, let me bypass this rule, let me bypass that rule. That you can do, but that's short term. You will not be able to scale up and you will not be able to grow up. So those are valuable lessons. So we gathered all the systems, processes, people, technology that we could get from a multinational. We actually linked up with global avenues where there are research organizations in the world where you can touch base with them for free, no cost. And you get their mindset of how to do things and what to do it. Now that YouTube University is here, it's giving it to you for free. So I'm just saying this is where you can get your knowledge and know-how. So for a lot of people here, I think innovation is going to be important now, and there's innovation coming up. So on sustainability issue, right? If you're not sustaining yourself and making enough money to pay your salaries and to pay your rents and to pay whatever, you're not going to be a charity for too long. That's not sustainable. Then it's more of a aid business where you're going to give charity. So I just want to say that sustainability is three things: people, planet, and profits. The people who are there, make sure they're organized in such a manner that you get things done. But again, when you scale up, you'll need more people. Right now, it's you yourself. But make sure you've got your ideas very clear about that. I think mentoring, Dr. Regina and team are doing a good job here, but mentoring never stops. Lifelong learning never stops. Even at my age of 64, I think important thing is keep learning every day. So I'm here to learn too. Learning never stops, number one. Number two, don't have this ego that I know it all. In fact, you say become a learner for life and say, I need to learn this, because the speed at which things are going digitally, things are going in different direction, you need to make sure you unlearn, relearn, and learn again all the time. It's got to be an iteration. A lot of times people find it difficult to unlearn. I've learned this in a young age and I don't let it go. I'm clear about that. Your values, you don't relearn. Values you keep intact. Once that is there, that's non-negotiable. The rest can be relearned and iterated together. So I think the way things are moving, I was talking to some technology guys recently, and from waste, like I said, plastic recycling is one opportunity. From waste, you know this country we have in agriculture, farm works, you probably also know this, that we're battling with a lot of fertilizer. Fertilizer issues. The government's talking about giving fertilizers for at a subsidized price and all that stuff. It's still about, what, 2,500, 3,000 shillings, the fertilizer subsidized. The normal one is 7,000, 6,000. What if you could get fertilizers at 100 shillings? What if you could get them at 600 shillings, 500, 600 shillings, the same fertilizer that's going for 2,500 or 5,000, 7,000? We have something very simple here, and that's technology. I invite you to go to YouTube University and find out. It is what we call in Swahili here, bolea. You know what bolea is? Cow dung. Cow dung can now be taken, cow dung and cow urine. In fact, the research says this is more valuable than the milk. So a lot of you say, dairy industry. Forget the dairy industry, keep the same cows, but they'll give you more value just out of the cow dung and cow urine. You can make biofertilizers, biopesticides from them, and bioenzymes from all waste, agriculture waste. And seriously, the way it's done now, it's a circular economy. It would be very, very low cost. There's anaerobic and aerobic fermentation where you put in, you know what sukari and guru is? What do you call that in English? Not molasses. It's the brown sugar. What do you call it in English? Jaggery. That's right. Sorry. Jaggery. You put in jaggery, you put that in, and you put it into a closed tank and leave it there for 60 days or 90 days. The technology is on YouTube. You can find out. And that becomes completely neutralized. It becomes a biofertilizer. And that's been applied now to farms, and really, it's done wonders. So you can do that with a small mixture of other things. You can make it into biopesticide. So you don't even need to use those pesticides. Now that's technology. When you look at that, that's an opportunity for everyone here. Not only one, but all of these. Then you take that and package it. In fact, it produces something else called gas, methane gas. Because that's what bolea does, right? The methane gas becomes you can sell it as gas, or you can do some cooking over it. That's also possible. That technology exists today. Now imagine if you could do that here. We could improve our soil health immediately in all our places. Our coffee farmers or our other farmers here can do a lot more. So that's just innovation. It's available, right? Same thing with plastics. They can do a lot more. Apart from that, there's so much more innovation going in. It's not just the old things that we used to do. So when we look at these things, I just think that sustainability is something that is innovation, putting things together and saying, fine, what else can we do here? But the foundations of sustainability are rooted in 2 things or 3 things. One is it's rooted in purpose. In Kenya today, every shilling counts, right? A penny saved is a penny earned. That's what's happening today. But customers also are becoming frugal. They're looking for products which can save them money. So the problem you're solving in Kenya would be that, can I save you more money in your cleaning, in your production, in whatever you do here? Can my honey be different or whatever? And if it's solving that real problem, it can be saying, I'm solving your problem of not having enough cash. And therefore, I do the same job for a lesser price. So whether you're selling fish in Kisumu or whether you're selling tech solutions here, I think this tech solution is amazing, because if you got the whole thing online and you can get that, really you solve the whole KRA administration problem of filing in documents. And I think that's what you should do, Dr. Regina. Link up with KRA, get this fully online. So all our small startup businessmen, everybody, don't have to worry about KRA filing. It's done automatically here. I think you do that, so do that well. Or you're somebody selling crafts in Mombasa, whatever. But the innovation we can bring here is, what value am I bringing to my customer? That's the only thing you need to do, is what value am I giving to my customer? Does my customer have an unmet need for this product or not? The minute you do that, you get a lot of innovation. Now, if you ask people, what's your unmet needs? Some people might say, I don't have this, I have that. But seriously, you can become of value to the community. So I just want to say that second thing is leveraging local resources. What can we get locally here? But I don't know one more thing, that, this wheat business that we talk about, wheat and bread. The world is now classifying it as not very, very good for your body. You probably know that right now. There's something called millets here. In our language, millet is classified as a poor man's product. The brown, the grayish millet or whatever, the brown millet or whatever. It is the healthiest food, right? That we could do so much in this country, and it can be done in dry lands. So that's a new opportunity for innovation, and say, fine, what can we do here? I started with ICRISAT, the ICRISAT guys here who are doing, is it ICRISAT or is it, they're doing research here in Kenya. And they can show you the entire millet value chain to say, what can we do with this? Your new snack food products could be done through millets, and they'll be healthier because there's no gluten in them. So I'm just talking about innovation in terms of sustainability here. But again, one more thing is adaptability. For all startups, for all businesses, for even banks today, adaptability and changing ourselves immediately is going to be important, right? Speaking to an insurance company. Now, insurance company, you pay your insurance, we pay a premium, right? You pay it once a year, at the start of the year. These guys have gone to a model where you pay it every day from your bill, from your phone bill. So it's deducted automatically from your phone bill, and that 10 shillings gets deducted. It's not a big burden. So I'm just saying innovation, even the dynamics, if the insurance company don't adopt it and say, I want all my money up front, we're going to be in a different change situation. Markets are changing. We're in a VUCA world. VUCA means volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity is a given. It's going to be there. It is volatile. Things are going to change. Uncertainty always. We can't say, I need to know the next 5 years and you have a 5-year plan. It's not going to work. Live by the day, but get things done. And we've got to adapt ourselves and pivot ourselves fast and say, fine, here the situation's changed, let's move this way. Today in industry, we're told about this tax and that tax, and I think the peanut butter guys are going to have a problem, because now the government has brought a NOCD levy of 2%. You have to pay 2% of this product to the government when you produce groundnut, anything from groundnuts or from oil seeds. In our crushing, any oil seed that we do in Kenya now, we've got to pay 2% to the government. The farmer has to register if he plants any oil seeds for crushing in Kenya. So I'm just saying, this is where, do we stop doing business? No, we just pivot and say, guys, come on, get on with it. We're already paying them that and saying, okay, now get on with it, do something for us. We've already paid them 4 billion shillings as far as we are concerned till now. They've given us no service till now. So that's the government for you. But then do you stop and say, no, because of this, I'm going to protest, I'm shutting my business down? No, you just say, fine, let me make sure we adjust to that. So I think the same thing with, we've got amazing stuff, M-Pesa, we've got digital payments. You know, the speed of business here has improved dramatically because of M-Pesa. It's removed us from the plastic card business, so there's a lot of things happening here. And lastly, I just want to say one thing, scaling responsibility is important. Scaling responsibly. Responsibly means I will not harm the environment, I will not harm people, I'll do the right thing, and therefore I will now become sustainable. Because a lot of people who do wrong things or cheat here or cheat for a short while or bypass situations are going to be there for a short term. I would want anybody going through this Skill Up program to be sustainable for the long run. So I think when you look at that, when you want to expand, when you want to become bigger, you will not get credibility even from the banks. I'm sure the banks look at a compliance system and say, fine, are you compliant or not? And that's going to get bigger and better. So I think that's going to be important. However, you may not have seen one more thing, the carbon business. The banks are not selling the carbon business yet, but the carbon business is going to get bigger and better. In what you're doing today, if you do it responsibly, you may have carbon credits. And maybe for your people here, we could do it together and say, fine, can we group them all together and then start looking at what are the carbon credits that are being generated from here. So I guess just one thing I want to say is sustainability as a Kenyan entrepreneur, right? It starts first of all with yourself. Embrace lifelong learning, like I talked about earlier. The landscape is changing. But also, again, network for growth. You're networking today, but keep on networking. And I think somebody talked about it, that make sure you have the contacts. You said 2 people, right? You talk to one and he gets you the connection with the rest. I think that relationship and strong networks, you cannot do without. And I think one more thing, collaboration. What I saw today was there's a need for collaboration on all these in a way. Dr. Regina could do this and say, fine, how do we get you the raw materials that you want? So you may have one entrepreneur here who becomes a very specialist in providing raw materials at the lowest prices ever, right? Number 2 is route to market and getting the market right and putting that together. So that could be done in a way where collaboration, even competitors can collaborate to say, now we have route to market. You could do different labeling. I was talking about it earlier at the exhibition. There's something called white labeling. White labeling means you can produce all these products, but tell Dr. Regina, I'll make your brand. Dr. Kingori, I'll make your brand. Flora, you'll get a brand here, and they'll make a brand for you. You can start doing that for people. A lot of the supermarkets, the big stores, are doing private labeling, and they could be some of your people there too. But again, most important of all is financial discipline. I think if your accounts and your systems are not set up, and you don't have a clear cash flow. I've spoken to a few young entrepreneurs who actually had a problem of failing, and I said, okay, let's find out, why are we failing? The biggest problem they had, and this is some strong learning for all of you, is they take their daily sales. You got your daily sales. Now, a lot of daily sales, not these days, but earlier used to come in cash. You know, the cash used to be stashed and then go to the bank. Now it's digital, so it's different. But that cash, a lot of people used to take it and say, now I'm going to a bar. In the bar, he says, I'm loaded with cash. Now we're going to spend. Why? Because my business is making money. It's doing well. They've taken their total sales as cash in the pocket and they started spending it. That's your working capital going in as expenses for parties or stash away. Wrong thing to do. For small businesses, for startups, your working capital is your working capital. Do not touch it. Do not put it into fixed assets or to fixed investments or spend it away. Similar example is for government today. Government's getting a lot of money, but it's putting it into recurrent expenditure and nothing going to development. So if you do not replenish your working capital, you bought stocks at 100,000 shillings. You sold it for 120,000, 150,000. You got 150,000. Now if you spend that in something else, how are you going to replenish your initial 100,000? You need to make sure that that cycle keeps working. Therefore, do not touch your working capital. This is the reason for a lot of failures. Then a lot of people go and say, oh, I'm buying land. They go and put that money into land. Now, land is not a productive asset. The business shuts down. He's got the land, but he's got a debt again. So I just think that this is something that's important. And again, resilience. I think Kenyans are very resilient, I would say one thing. If you're still sitting here and smiling in this country, I think we're resilient. So we've still got a good lot of resilience around. And look, entrepreneurship in Kenya is amazing, right? Number one, we will navigate any tough tax regulation or whatever, and we'll actually make it happen. So the road is challenging, but we are all prepared for the challenges. And I think the point is that Kenya, in a way, has the best human capital. We've got the best people around, number one. We've got an economy that's really good because I'll tell you what, we're a democracy. The fact that we're a democracy is important. A lot of the fast-growing countries are autocratic. They're not democratic. And if the leader fails, everything else fails. So I think the whole thing about social sustainability adhesive. What is the adhesive? The glue that keeps our social sustainability here. I think is to say we all work in love for each other and to help each other grow together. So here a lot of you can help each other. We can all help each other to grow bigger, grow better, and really develop everybody else's strengths. So I just want to invite ourselves to say, all the people who've come here, we could actually look at how to collaborate with this Skill Up program because it's something that's needed here, right? And I think we believe in it. So we would rather say, how do we help this situation become even bigger, better? Because alone I am weak, together we are strong. So if we all hold hands with each other, I think we can do a lot more. Lastly, I just want to say our values. We've got some amazing values in Kenya. We've got the family values, we've got all that. Do not go back to the Western style of saying me and my family and that's it. We need to have our extended family. We need to make sure that this whole thing becomes a good family because you can collaborate so much more. And the warmth that Kenyans have, I think is second to none. So I just want to say that these are the best parts of Kenya. We have a speed bump. We have a government that's looking at different things in a different way, and they're all about taxes because they think that we need to pay the debt, and to pay the debt, I need to tax people more. But then the consumerism is going away, and therefore the spending is going away. And if industries come down, if jobs go out, then people will have nothing to spend. We'll go back to begging again. And I think this is something we got to revert and say, fine, avoid. I think it'll happen. It's a speed bump for 2, 3, 4 years more. And I think things will work well. So I just want to say there's a lot of hope. However, the Skill Up program here, where you started up in this manner, I'd like to see this in 5, 10 years, 20 years, in 3 countries, 4 countries, 5 countries, selling in different regions and looking at things differently. DRC itself is part of East African community. So I just want to talk about East African community. Gives you duty-free access into Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, South Sudan, and DRC now. That's your market size today, duty-free. AFCFTA will come in the next 2, 3, 4 years when really things become better. We'll have access to 34 countries. So really, the demand equation, the demand side is not going to go down. It's going to be how you sustain yourself, make your product better, make it competitive, and really innovate. The consumer is changing his behavior, and look at that. Segment the market. Do a lot of more things here. I could keep on talking, but I was only given 20 minutes. I took 2 hours. But I think ultimately, this is an amazing program. So to the whole team, let's give them a big standing ovation for Dr. Regina and team for doing a fantastic job here. And I think we can all partner with them and say, fine, how do we make this even better and scale up? Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Vimal Shah. Another round of applause for Dr. Vimal.
What he says I am, where he says I'm at.
Great. Thank you so much. And one powerful message is that entrepreneurship is actually amazing. So let's have our seats shortly for us to get into the closing, which is the official launch of the programs, the initiatives that you are launching today. And so, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the RWK team to get ready for the launch on stage. Media team, also please get ready.
What he says I am, where he says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I walk in miracles. I live a life of a life. For I know who I am. Say, I'm walking in power. I walk in miracles. I live a life of favor.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'd like to invite Dr. Regina on stage so we can present some tokens of appreciation. All right, so I'll just invite our guest speakers. Madam Flora, please come to the stage. We shall have a token of appreciation presented to you by Dr. Regina. All right. We can also appreciate Dr. Flora as she gets the token of appreciation.
I'm walking in power. I'm walking miracles. I live a life of faith.
We also invite Robert to also come up on stage.
I live a life of favor.
Okay, Robert is coming up on stage
Take a look at me. I'm
from
a wonder.
HFC.
It doesn't matter what you see now. Can you see His glory?
Please come here, sir.
Take a look at me. I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter what you see now. Can you see His glory? For I know who I am. Say oh, I know who I am. Let your voice shout I know who I am. How many of you know who you are? Come on.
All right, thank you. And next on stage, I'd like to invite Dr. Vimal Shah on stage. Dr. Vimal Shah, please welcome on stage to also receive a token of appreciation from RWK Africa.
Sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu, sisi ndo wale tuliobarikiwa na Baba, sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu, sisi ndo wale tuliobarikiwa.
All right, thank you so much. And at this juncture, I'd like to invite Robert again and Peter also on stage. Please welcome on stage so we can do the official launch. Media team, also get ready as we do this wonderful launch of 3 very important initiatives and an additional bonus from RWK. Okay. Thank you, DJ. All right, so we shall start with the official launch of the Skill Up Mentorship Program. The official launch of the Skill Up Mentorship Program. The ribbon will be unveiled by Dr. Vimal Shah. The Skill Up Mentorship Program is at the center. It will be unveiled by Dr. Vimal Shah. Doctor? So Dr. Vimal Shah will also be unveiling the Skill Up Mentorship Program. Okay, so we shall have a media countdown before then, just wait. Okay, 10, media. 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Skill Up Mentorship Program is now officially launched on this auspicious day, and we are so grateful for your support this far. Thank you so much, sir. I'd like to invite you to receive as we invite Robert to come and launch RWK Africa.
And you will come back with a new song.
Media team. So we shall be launching RWK Africa, launched by the Group CEO HFC, Robert Kibara, together with Dr. Regina Kingori. Happening now, that is the official launch of RWK Africa, now officially launched. Congratulations to RWK Africa. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. I'll request you to recede first as we invite Peter to come and do the launch of the latest app on financial management in Kenya. That is My Accurate Books, being launched now.
6, 5,
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the official launch of My Accurate Books, financial management application by RWK Africa, now being unveiled. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is officially launched.
9, 8, 7, 6.
All right. And right where you are, just remain where you are. I'd like to invite us. Yes, I'd like to invite us to spread across the emblems as we take the photo.
Listen, them say, them tell you.
All right, the rest of the guests, you can join us to do a group photo next to the plaques. All of them, please join. Just join any empty space so we can do the launch. Mr. Kingori, you can also join us. Mr. Kingori, also join us.
Lesser than you will hear. Congratulations, you're in the glory of God. Congratulations, He has done it.
Moments of celebration on stage as we have our chief guest together with other guest speakers after the official launch of Skill Up Mentorship Program, RWK Africa, and My Accurate Books application.
Congratulations, say what the Lord has done for you. Congratulations, God is good.
All right, and I want to invite the guests. Please remain where you are. The guests, please remain where you are. Robert and Dr. Vimal. Then I'd like to invite Dr. Eliud to step forward. Dr. Eliud, please step forward. The rest of the guests will remain where you are, just standing. Dr. Eliud, please step forward. Dr. Regina, also please step forward so we can do the official unveiling. Just remain where you are. The rest of the guests will have Dr. Eliud and Dr. Regina unveiling and launching for the first time ever Ignite Your Dreams by Dr. Regina Kingori. So we'll have the emblem moved forward. We shall be unveiling this to the audience, the official book called Reignite Your Dreams. This is also happening here today. Some music as we have the celebration and the photo shoot. The rest of the guests will also join in and take a photo with Dr. Regina. This is a very wonderful moment when we get to launch a lot of things together. Congratulations, Dr. Regina, on this wonderful achievement. All right. So now we'll have one last group photo with the book at the center. We'll have one last group photo with the book at the center. Yes, one last photo with the book at the center. And we shall have closed this moment.
Where y'all at? Come on, come on. I trust in you. I believe, say it. I believe. You are the God of miracles. You are the God of miracles. You are the God of wonder. You are the God of wonder. You are the God all powerful.
All right. And just as we are there, we'd like to proceed to another important ceremony. The guests, please remain where you are. We'd like to invite Mercy and the RWK team to come and help us set up for the cake cutting so that we can do it when the guests are still on stage. RWK team, let us set up for the cake. Yes.
I trust in you. In you. Oh Lord, say it. Oh Lord, Jehovah, you. I trust in you. I believe, say it, everybody say it. I believe you. I trust.
All right. So we all know how important the closing of such a ceremony is with a meal in the African culture, right? So we shall be sharing a meal, and I'd like to invite the Skill Up Mentorship team to please rush to the stage if you can, as we do the cake cutting. If you can, please rush to the stage in the shortest time possible, so we can do the cake cutting together. You'll stand just behind the speakers as we have the cake being set up on stage. In the meantime, we have officially launched Skill Up Mentorship Program. We have launched RWK Africa, and we have also launched My Accurate Books alongside Dr. Regina Kingori's Ignite Your Dreams latest book, and this is our latest author.
I trust in you. Oh Lord, Jehovah, you.
Where y'all at? Come on, come on.
I trust in you.
I believe, say it.
I believe
You are the God of miracles.
you are the God of miracles.
You are the God of wonder.
You are the God of wonder.
You are the God all
You
powerful.
are the God of power.
I believe, say it.
All right, so we'll have the team set up on stage.
Say it, y'all.
We'll have the team set up on stage. The Skill Up Mentorship team standing at the back. We'll have the cake cutting closest to the lectern.
Come on, catch it, Jehovah. I trust in you.
In you,
Oh Lord, say it.
oh Lord, Jehovah, you.
I trust.
I trust in you.
I believe, say it. Everybody say it.
I believe you.
I trust.
I trust
Come on.
in you. Oh Lord,
Y'all get your part over here. I can't hear you. Come on, say it. I trust. Say it.
All right. DJ, thank you. So I'd like to invite Dr. Regina, Mr. Kingori, Robert, Dr. Vimal to come and do the cake cutting, supported by the Skill Up Mentorship Program team. These are the entrepreneurs who are gracing this occasion. This is their big day, and this is also our big day. So we shall be sharing this. Okay, so DJ, you'll do something good for us as we cut the cake. So I'd like to invite Dr. Vimal and Dr. Regina and Robert. I think you are the center. Mercy, you're also close there. Yes.
One time.
Let us start with the demonstration first. So let us start with the demonstration so that we know that we are doing the right thing. Sampling. Let's go. Let's go. Now that is the demo. Okay.
Okay, so you must say, come on.
Okay.
Can you feel it? Say.
All right. One more time. One more time.
One time, say.
Okay, we shall be partaking of this together as they cut. So this is in commemorating this wonderful celebration where we launched Skill Up Mentorship Program, RWK Africa, My Accurate Books, and also unveiled
You must say.
Reignite Your Dreams by Dr. Regina Kingori.
Can you feel it?
All right, thank you so much. So we shall have one last group photo with the RWK Africa team, Skill Up Mentorship Program, and the guests just where you are. Together, let's do one last photo.
2, 3, 4, 5, go! Jump it up again. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Make it loud. Hands up. 1, 2, 3.
matrons, cake matrons, Mercy and Abigail, please allow us to take one group photo before we exit the stage. One group photo for the Skill Up Mentorship program team, joined by RWK Africa, together with our lovely guests.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3.
All right, so there's a condition that for all of us who are standing here at the front, if you don't smile, you won't eat the cake. So we'll just give it to the audience and not you. Okay? Right. A very big gorgeous. Right about now. Thank you, DJ. Right about now, I'd like to request the RWK Africa team to move closer to where I am and leave only the Skill Up Mentorship program team in that photo. RWK Africa team, please come where I am. I want us to take a photo with only the Skill Up Mentorship program teams and the guests. You can now get closer. You can now close up. The next photo will be RWK Africa team together with the guests. We will proceed in that order. Okay. So the final photo we shall do is for the RWK Africa team. Just RWK Africa team to come and do the final photo. Skill Up Mentorship program. We can now take our seats and proceed to also share the cake with the rest of the team, the rest of the audience. RWK Africa team, you can proceed to the center and take a group photo. All right, thank you so much. So the last photo is for the RWK Africa team. Coming up next, RWK Africa team. All right, Skill Up Mentorship program team, please exit the stage at the center. Skill Up Mentorship program team, please exit the stage so we can do the final photo, which will be RWK Africa team together with the chief guests and the CEO, Dr. Regina Kingori. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So at this juncture, I'd like to invite Mr. Kingori. Mr. Kingori, if you can hear my voice, I'd like to invite you on stage. I'd like to invite you on stage. I'd like to invite Mr. Kingori on stage, if you can hear my voice. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to come to the close of today's program. But just before then, we have just a few remarks and announcements to make. I'd like to invite Mr. Kingori, if you can hear my voice. Someone help me get Mr. Kingori. All right. Thank you so much.